Welcome, ladies, to our Sync 2.0 launch webinar. Thank you for hopping on live. I'm super excited to share with you the details that we have in store for 2025 for all things Sync, kind of what we have up our sleeve. I know some of you listening maybe have been part of the Sync course or community, or maybe you've done Sync Fitness before. Some of you are brand new and you're listening to this for the first time, wanting to gather information to know how to apply this to yourself and what is best for you. So we will have a little bit of time at the end for any questions that you might have. So hang on to them or type them in the chat, and I will get to them at the very end. But welcome to this. I mean, this might be the first time that you're hearing about this concept of really paying attention to your female physiology, right? And so before I share any slides, let me just say that I think this is a game changer for so many women, regardless of your age. Maybe you're in your 20s, maybe you're in your 40s, maybe you're postmenopause. Regardless, this is a place where you can find what I like to call hormone literacy, hormone health education, in addition to the application tools that you need when it comes to your fitness and nutrition. So, diet culture out there right now, right, teaches us that we need to that there's only one certain way, right? That we need to just cut back on our calories or we need to work out harder, right? Unfortunately, sometimes we even hear that from our doctors. And it's just not true because the research that we now have on women points to actually the fact that women are often not fueling enough and we're not paying enough attention to our hormone health. So, what I love the most about this is that we go deeper, right? I like to say when women know the why, they will apply. So, it's not just do this workout blindly or go, follow this diet plan or whatever. It's actually, let me teach you why. Let me teach you why we're doing it this way. Because once you know that, you really can't go back, right? And then you really start to reach what I like to call maximum energy. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I have slides just for the sake of, some people like slides. They like to have something visual to look at, but I might veer off of them from time to time. Let's see. So let me hit the present mode. Okay, perfect. Okay, so again, this is where hormone health education meets fitness and nutrition for female physiology. It's really that simple. It didn't start this way, and I am going to share with you a little bit of just sort of the story and the background behind Sync and how it came to be. But where we're going moving forward is really looking to serve so many women on this level of hormone literacy and helping them really achieve maximum energy. You'll learn from me right away that it's really not about fitting into a certain pair of jeans or any sort of like six pack abs. It's more about longevity health. And I think this is where a lot of women could benefit from this information, right? As the mom of two girls, I know that I really want to change the narrative for how my girls think about food, how my girls think about exercise, and how my girls think about energy and their place in this world. So we're going to talk a lot about that tonight, but I'm going to keep the content here rolling so that you guys can get a feel for where we're headed. The facts are this, right? 72% of women will deal with hormone imbalance in their lifetime. 70% of women feel that they've been gaslit by their own doctors. And only 3% of practitioners out there are hormone health knowledgeable, which leaves a huge gap in women's health when it comes to proper care. So I want to hone in on that last statistic, right? Because if you can see here, like over 70% of women are going to feel gaslit by their doctors. They're going to actually be dealing with hormone imbalance, but only 3% of doctors out there are actually knowledgeable when it comes to menopause, perimenopause, or hormone imbalance issues. We probably all have a story about, being handed the birth control pill or antidepressants or really not feeling like we're getting very far in our own personal health and wellness. Or, like I said earlier, being told maybe you just need to work out harder and eat less, right? Unfortunately, this knowledge gap, this is the problem that I've been seeing, and this is exactly why Sync was born, right? I have my own story in hormone health and why I got into this to begin with. It was because of my own struggle. But I started to notice this for myself, right? As a migraine sufferer, I saw everyone from neurologists to spinal specialists. I did Botox, I had spinal surgeries, like I saw all these specialists, but no one was willing to actually look at my body as a whole and to really look at my endocrine system. Fast forward to when I owned a gym, right? I used to work with both men and women, and men would see exceptional transformations, for lack of better terms, right? They would come in, they would do the workouts. They really wouldn't pay much attention to the nutrition or anything else, but they would have amazing results in our 90-day program. Probably a lot of you are like nodding your heads, right? Because maybe you and your husband start a regimen around the same time, and for some reason, he's able to lose the weight and maybe you're not. So I started to see these differences in men and women. I started to also look back to my own experience, really feeling like I wasn't getting anywhere with modern medicine. And I started to dive deeper. Why was this happening? Why were women struggling to lose weight? Why were women struggling to really um, get the results when they were putting in oftentimes double the work, right? So I started by really just diving deeper into female physiology, right? I actually had a good friend of mine who's on this call say to me, this was back in 2019. She said, "Have you ever thought about looking into this research that Dr. Stacy Sims is leading? But it's this new research that we finally have on women." At that time, right, I was a certified personal trainer, fitness nutrition specialist. I had been training in the gym. I'd been health coaching clients online for several years. But this was a new concept to me. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean training women? Like, how is it different, right? Like, I didn't know of any differences. And so I started following the science that she was pointing me to. I started to take courses by Dr. Stacy Sims to really dive deep into understanding this idea that women should train and fuel in alignment with their menstrual cycle. So this was a fascinating concept to me because as someone who had had migraines that were cyclical, they happened every month around my period. I really had never dove deep into understanding the nuances and the details of the menstrual cycle. But when I did start to go down that avenue, right, combined with my own journey from chronic migraine suffering, working with a functional medicine practitioner to get to the root cause for me and getting the proper testing that previously no doctor or specialist had ever done on me, for me to actually look at not only what my root causes were to really optimize my health, but when I also started to look at actually, I was training against my physiology, right? The home workouts that I was doing at the time were just burning me out. They were all about calorie burn. They weren't at all about longevity or muscle strength. So when I started to put all this together, it was information that I couldn't keep, I couldn't hold on to it. It's like I have to share this with other women, right? Like this goes beyond just me. So, a little bit about my story. I've already shared a lot of it, but I suffered from chronic migraines in my 20s, infertility in my late 20s. You could say that hormone imbalance issues have really plagued me my whole life, from weight loss resistance to the infertility to the chronic migraines, now entering perimenopause. The chronic migraines and now vertigo have reappeared in my life. So, you could say that when hormones are out of balance for me, it triggers a whole slew of issues, right? And so, for me, when people say, "How did you get into hormone health?" I always say, very unfortunately, to be honest, like through my own struggle. I didn't sign up for this, right? Like I thought I was going to be working in like book publishing or journalism or something like that I went to college for, when in fact I landed in doctor's office after doctor's office looking for my Dr. House, looking for, if you've ever seen the TV show House, looking for that doctor that was going to say, aha, you have mold in the gutters. Like this is the problem. We just need to remove that and you'll be fine, right? And I never found that. I mean, like I told you, I went to multiple spinal specialists, neurologists, headache doctors, never found my Dr. House. I was actually on a walk with my good friend Jen when she said some words to me that would really be very foreshadowing of my life. She said, "Jenny, you can't give up now. You are your own best advocate." And I said to her, "Jen, I've been in like 14 different doctor's offices in the last 2 months. Like, I literally feel like this is my full-time job now. I was on disability from work. I was like, I can't live like this. Like, I'm newly married. I want to have a family someday. Like, this migraine hell is taking over." And she gave me the name of a functional practitioner. And I told her, I rolled my eyes at her and I said, "Oh my gosh, are you sending me to somebody that's like a woo-woo doctor?" And she's like, "No, I'm telling you, Jenny, you've done it all. Why not try it?" So that started me on this adventure, as I like to say, of really investigating a root cause approach to my health. Maybe you've heard of functional medicine. Maybe someone else has mentioned that term to you. Maybe you've been afraid of it because you're like, "Oh my gosh, isn't that out of pocket? Like that's going to be different than my insurance and all the things," right? Like it stirs up these feelings of what even is that? Because our world is very much targeted to specialties, like I said before, right? Neurologists look at the brain, OBGYNs, right, are supposedly the wise ones when it comes to our endocrine health and our reproductive system. Well, what I started to find was that this gap that I was mentioning, that 3% of practitioners are really hormone health knowledgeable, I just kept running into that in my own journey. When I finally found the right practitioner, started working on the testing that I needed, the bio-individual supplementation that I needed, when I really started to look at my health as individual And then I started to also apply that information to the science that we have on women, how women should train, how much rest and recovery is needed in workouts. What are the rep counts? How should women get stronger? Why should women get stronger? What are the correlations from hormone health to things like Alzheimer's disease, osteoporosis, cardiovascular disease? When I started to see that information, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this backwards, right? And so I started to share this with women, and that's how the Sync course was born. I launched the Sync course early 2020, before the pandemic ever happened, before we knew there was ever going to be a pandemic. And when the pandemic happened, a lot of women reached out to me saying, "I think this is a sign, right? Like I'm home in my pajamas, and you're posting on social media about sharing more about hormone health. Like I want to do it, right?" So we had several women come into the initial course. And in the beginning, right, in the beginning, I knew all this. I had this story. I knew that, ultimately, the root cause approach was a key component. But I was working in health and fitness coaching with a network marketing company called Body. I was helping men and women, right, do at-home fitness programs. And so for me, I was like, I don't need to share the whole picture. I'll just create a cycle syncing program. So when Sync was first born, it was a cycle syncing program, really teaching women how to align things like home workouts or gym workouts to their menstrual cycle. Within 2 weeks of that launch, I started having women ask more and more questions. And immediately I saw this need. I saw that gap in, well, what should I be asking my doctor? And are you guys experiencing this? Because I'm experiencing this, right? And all of a sudden, the things that women don't normally talk about started to bubble up in this online group that I was running for the cycle syncing course. So I knew right away that things had to shift. So we shifted to a really, really robust online course where I teach everywhere from finding the right practitioner to getting the proper hormone testing to cycle syncing to proper nutrition for women, all the way through to basically everything you can think of as it pertains to root cause approach. Not a single week goes by that I don't get a message from a woman who says something like, I'm in the doctor's office and I finally feel like I am fully equipped for this conversation. I know what questions to ask. I feel empowered. I'm finally my own best advocate. And that's really what it's about, right? As an integrative health practitioner myself, I have the knowledge to share with you, but ultimately I want you to have that information so that you can apply it to yourself and then get somewhere, right? Get somewhere when it comes to those conversations. So back in 2020 through 2024, right, I was referring people to home workouts, right? I was sharing with people like, this is how we go about doing this. You got to make sure that you're lifting heavy in this part of your cycle. You want to make sure that you're adding mobility into this part of your cycle. And over time, it just got more and more challenging because the bottom line is 99% of fitness regimens out there are catered to male physiology. Whether you're talking about Orange Theory classes or home fitness DVDs or online workouts, like it doesn't matter because a lot of people just aren't up to date on the science on women, right? So a lot of times you'll see things that are catered to high calorie burn, or let's try to squeeze as much fitness into a 20 or 30-minute workout as possible, not paying any attention to rest and recovery. And when women get into those programs, right, or into that type of regimen, that's when we start to see a havoc on their endocrine system, on their metabolic health. So we launched the Sync course, like I said, in 2020. We added the full robustness of teaching women a root cause approach to their health. And then in 2024, we expanded greatly in two different directions. One was partnering with a hormone health knowledgeable doctor. So yes, I found someone in the 3% who offered virtual telehealth consults. We partnered with her to be able to offer that to our course community. And then number two, we partnered with a woman named Kelsey Lensman. I love her to pieces. She's our trainer, our resident Sync trainer. And she said, I want to create a program for Sync. This is exactly how I train. She's very much in the competitive strength world. And she said, I want to create something for women that really is like muscle building centric, not powerlifting, bodybuilding. Don't think that way. Just more of like, how can we really step into the science? And we know that muscle is the key to longevity. So how can we build a program designed around female physiology? So we were able to take out all the references previously to home fitness programs or ways to get your fitness in, and instead created our own Sync fitness program. So prior to this moment, everything has always sort of lived separately. Women have come in and said, I want to do more hormone health education. Some women have come in and said, I want to do more and I want to do the fitness program. And of course, some of those women have done both. But as of today, we're launching this as a package so that everyone can come in, that everyone can have access to absolutely everything from the digital course education all the way through to the downloadable guides, to the community, which is a huge piece of this program. Also to, of course, the fitness and nutrition program designed by Kelsey and myself. So that's the background of where we are. But in the end, it really comes down to making sure that women are becoming hormone literate. You guys, it is crazy to me, the questions that I get sometimes in my inbox, right? I have women who are asking me about whether or not they ovulate and they're postmenopause. And I have to share that like we don't ovulate after menopause, right? Or sometimes I'll have women asking me questions about their teenage daughters. Most recently, the most common question I've been getting is my daughter is 20 or 21 and she's never had a period. What do I need to do about it? Right? So I get asked these questions as a hormone health expert every single day. And I can tell you this. Your life will change when you step into hormone literacy. When you understand what your menstrual cycle should be doing and versus what yours is doing, or when you start to learn more about thyroid health or symptoms or all these different things, you then up level the conversation with your practitioner and you're able to actually get somewhere, right? So, like I said before, I had the great fortune of sitting in on the first 140 consults with Dr. Page, our resident hormone health doctor, and our course taking community. So we opened this up to our course taking community in 2024 first. And the first 140 consults that we did, they were all people who had taken this course. And the conversations were like here. You know what I'm saying? Like we came into the conversation and these women are like, I already know what I'm asking, right? And we've already got the testing out of the way. Like we've already made so much progress here, and we were able to really cut to it, which is why we've had so much success in helping women in the program itself. After that, we launched it to the public, right? We said, okay, we'll open up consults to the public. Now we've served our community, we'll open it up to the public. Immediately, within the first 20 consults that we opened to the public, Dr. Page came to me and said, I really prefer working with the women who've taken your course because it's just a different level of conversation. And now they're advocating for themselves and they're asking for things that she's not able to necessarily. Yes, she's spending an hour or more with you as opposed to 20 minutes, right, from your regular doctor, but you're able to up level that conversation. So for me, this is all about hormone literacy and really reversing diet culture. Right now, most likely, maybe you're here because you want to lose weight, right? And you've heard about this program, or you're really frustrated because you feel like you're doing all the right things and you're not getting anywhere. And what I want to emphasize is that there are tons of options out there for what I call diet culture, right? Low carb, low fat, low sugar, keto, intermittent fasting, 6 weeks to this or 21 days to this, right? Like there's always going to be something in the land of diet culture. What I would say is, at least what I've learned, and trust me, I've tried it all. I've done ketogenic diets, intermittent fasting, I've done the 21-day things. I can tell you that when you can really embrace understanding the end goal, when you say, yes, I want to be able to be a grandparent that's not suffering in my later age because I'm able to get up and down off the floor with my grandkids. When I have that energy and mobility, that's really thriving. That's what I want to shoot for. By the way, did you know that sarcopenia is the number one reason that elderly go into the nursing home? And sarcopenia is the loss of muscle, the inability to get up and down off the floor. Did you know that women spend at least 25% of our lifetime in poor health after the age of 50? Not a lot of research has been done on women, but we have to follow the research that has been done, which is exactly what this program does. So we like to say that we work smarter, not harder necessarily. We're going to help you reverse diet culture mentality. We're going to help you step into proper fueling, eating enough for your activity level, because I'm here to tell you that most women are not eating enough. And to really, like I said, train smart and not overdo. So, like I said, what is Sync? So, how are these things packaged together? Well, we've just simply taken the technology and we've put it all together for you. So, instead of them living separately, now it all lives together. So, we have hormone health education with a 6-module course, all about self-advocacy. We have proper testing guides, we have supplement suggestions, we have menstrual cycle education, we talk cycle syncing, we have phase-specific meal plans, we have education from our functional doctors, and like I said, life-changing information for all women. And we've bundled that together with our Sync fitness and nutrition program that I co-created with Kelsey Linsman so that you have the home workouts to do with just dumbbells in your own home. And you also have the nutritional guidance there as well. So we want to make it really simple. It's not just about information, it's about application, right? Like what can you also take and do so that you can start to get results and feel good about yourself? So let's talk about the options. And I assume that you were invited here by your Sync certified coach, so you can always reach out to them after this with any questions. But we've kept this really simple, right? Everyone starts in the same place, which is with our course plus fitness combination, right, which is what I just mentioned. So this is known as our starter pack. It is access to our 12-week hormone health course. You have access to Sync Fitness. We have, like I said, the phase-specific meal plans and grocery lists. We have an amazing community. By the way, in that community, I live stream and I come in there for Q&A every single week. I've done that now for 5 years. And it's an awesome way to just plug in, stay engaged. I've never had a group run as long as this, right? Like I opened that group in like late 2019, and it's still going strong because women are so active and engaged in the group itself. So the community is huge as well. And that's where we begin, right? We begin with this 12-week approach. Why? Well, for two reasons. One is the course education is really mapped out in a way to help you get through it in 12 weeks. It's not overwhelming, but I really think that if someone's going to take their time through the content, 6 to 12 weeks, you're going to be able to do that pretty easily. Also, we want to make sure that for the fitness side, that you're following a progressive overload training regimen, right? Progressive overload in the truest sense means that you're following functional movements, right? We're lifting heavy, which you'll learn about in the course, and we're gradually progressing our range of motion and our weight over time. So we want you to be following the fitness program for 3 months, right? Which is why this is all a 12-week roadmap. Now, from there, you can opt into either a monthly membership with ongoing workouts and nutrition. Kelsey is constantly filming new workouts. We actually have about 51 recorded workouts at this time, home workouts. This summer, she'll be launching gym workouts as well, in case you belong to a gym or you want to take workouts with you on your phone to the gym. We are also launching an adrenal healing program in the next 40 days, which will be awesome as well for downregulating the nervous system, for people who are really looking for something low impact. If you're healing your adrenals and you're really looking to slow things down, we have options for that as well. So in order to receive ongoing access to the course, ongoing access to these new workouts, ongoing access to the launched meal plans, we have a monthly option. And then we also offer an annual membership. So the annual membership is my personal favorite, of course, because I'm a nerd, so I really like education. I really want to dive into as much as possible. So it's everything I just mentioned to you, right? The 12-week access plus ongoing workouts and nutrition. In addition to that, you also get access to all of our hormone health educational courses. So right now we have a course on functional fertility that I filmed with a functional fertility registered dietitian. We have a course called Exploring the Gut Microbiome that I filmed with Dr. Laura Brown, who's a naturopathic gut expert and doctor. We have PeriRx, which is something that I did with Dr. Page. And we also have Teen Girl Hormone Health, which is launching in March. Those of you might have daughters in their teenage years. And Endocrine Disruption 101 also coming this summer. So for the $720 price, you get all of those hormone health education programs and courses in addition to the fitness nutrition for 1 year. So essentially, we're giving you 3 months free when you opt into the annual membership. Now, I do want to touch on the Sync certification because I know we always get questions about that in particular. And I will be doing a separate webinar specific to becoming a Sync certified coach. So we'll go a lot deeper there. But just know that we do offer a 50% discount on your membership. So the membership that I just shared on the previous screen, up to 50% commissions when you refer other women into the program. And like I said, you also get the certification label. So you're able to say you're a Sync certified coach for credibility. Now, with the certification, like I said, we have the cost for that as $1,000. When you take a look at a lot of options that are out there right now, I really feel like, you can become a personal trainer for several $1,000s or whatever. But honestly, the wealth of information that you will get from this course, I've never had one person ever say, it just wasn't a lot for me. Like literally everybody is always like, oh my gosh, like this is so amazing. And I never knew all this I was going to learn. So the certified coach option is not overwhelming. It is a test based on the course itself, right? So you come into the certification, you take the test, you become an immediate affiliate when you enroll as a Sync certified coach, which means you have a link to share that will earn you commissions, for anyone that you bring into the program. So, like I said, we'll be doing a separate call specific to the certified coach business opportunity, but this is an option for you as well. Now, when you reach out to the Sync certified coach that invited you here, if let's say that it's tonight or tomorrow and they give you your link to get started, you have the option. You'll see when you go through the checkout process, it will ask you, like, you'll start with the 12-week starter pack. You have the option to go ahead and enroll in the monthly membership or the annual membership, but it's not required. It's up to you what you want to do. And then at checkout, you'll see an option for adding the certification to your program as well. Whatever you choose in that process, you'll have immediate access to, right? So if you choose no, I'll just start with the 12 weeks, great. You're going to come right into the Sync course and community. You'll have Sync Fitness, all the things. If you opt into the annual membership, you'll have all the courses there for you in the library. And if you opt into the certification, you'll actually get access to two pieces. You'll get access to the Sync course, and then the Sync certification is separate. Another thing that I like to mention about the certification that I probably don't mention enough is that you do get a kickback on everything. So not just this Sync program, but let's say that you refer somebody into our digital telehealth. Let's say that you have somebody that you want to refer into a consult with Dr. Page. We offer 15% commissions on those. And then if you have someone that comes in, if you have a customer that comes in and opts into the monthly membership, and let's say that they want to upgrade into those additional courses that I mentioned, those are also a 15% commission as well. I like to mentor my Sync certified coaches. So this was a huge piece for me when we decided to launch the certification back in, I guess it was 2022. I was like, I want to be able to help. Like, I want to be able to help women really create a business out of this to really be able to serve other women. And it was happening naturally. Like, the reason the certification even came about is because women who took the course were like, how can I share this? Like, I need to share this with as many women as possible. I just did a recent keynote at a church here in Indianapolis. And after it was over, the woman who organized the event said that the number one resounding message from the event was, can we do this again? And next time I'll bring 30 of my closest girlfriends. Like, they didn't realize like how much information they were going to learn and how good it was going to be. And they wanted to do it again so they could bring more people. And that's been the experience, right? Women come into the course and they're like, I have to share this. Like, I need my sister to do this, my coworkers to do this, my friends to do this. And if that's you, then perhaps the certified coach opportunity is for you. So wanted to mention that. Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to end us before we go to Q&A. I want my good friend Erin here to hop on and just kind of share her experience, because I know when Erin reached out to me, I guess it's been probably 2 to 3 years ago, she's like, I'm thinking about doing these different things. Like, I don't know, like, you had such a background in home fitness, but then you tried other sort of like diet trends and things out there for your own health. She was also looking to possibly at that time become a certified personal trainer and to really dive deeper into health coaching. So Erin, if you would just sort of hop on here and tell us more about just what Sync has done for you in your health. And then also if you could share with us, what has it been doing for you in your business as well?
Thanks, Jenny. Happy to share. Sync has been transformative for me in a lot of different ways. And as Jenny kind of shared, I had really tried everything. And I mean, really, truly everything. I had explored doing other kinds of certifications. I had explored really trying to figure out ways I wanted to expand my knowledge inside the health space. But for whatever reason, especially as I got into this realm of like late 30s, early 40s, my personal health completely changed. It drastically changed and everything felt different. And no matter what I was doing, things weren't adding up. Like, I wasn't able to make progress physically. I did not feel mentally clear. My emotions and my mental health and my emotional well-being were all over the place. Like, things just felt so much harder across the board for me. And I always had felt like I was just missing this key piece of information about longevity wellness and how female physiology evolves. Like, I just didn't have the knowledge. I could feel that I was missing something major. And that's kind of when I somehow came across Jenny and her content. And this was when I was literally at the end of my rope and knew that I needed to find something different for my own personal wellness. So I dove straight into Sync, decided to do the certification right out of the gate, went through the course, and it really transformed my thinking around this idea of wellness for ourselves as women and truly how our health evolves over time. And that was the knowledge I never had. I always thought, like, as long as I was working out and moving my body, as long as I was like eating good enough, that the results would come and that I would feel fine and that it would carry me throughout my life. And that was not reality. Once I hit 38, like I said, everything changed. And so I had to really learn through Sync how to embrace this concept of evolving health. And with evolving health comes evolving effort and evolving regimens and evolving how you kind of structure your lifestyle from fitness and nutrition to so much more than that. And so, like I said, Sync has been transformative for me for my personal wellness, but also in business. Sync was really the thing that spurred me into diving deeper on certifications. So I did go on to get my certified personal training certification done through NASM. And then I also went on to get my nutrition coaching certification through Precision Nutrition. And Jenny has been an incredible mentor to me as far as just kind of crafting this mindset around possibility for serving in different levels inside women's health, and just really the importance of having people inside this community or inside this place where we're learning this knowledge so we can spread the knowledge and share the education with women, because it isn't shared and it isn't talked about enough. And as someone who was really entrenched in diet culture for a really long time and who preached one size fits all programs for forever and thought that that was going to be the thing that I needed as I grew older, I've learned the hard way. But now that I know, and as Jenny always says, once we know better, we can do better. And that's really what I'm passionate about now, is like, how can I continue to dive into this very specific knowledge for my own wellness? How can I teach this to my daughters? And how can I also infuse this into the way that I'm coaching? Because it's completely changed the lens that I look through when it comes to coaching other women. And it's just knowledge and education that I'm so grateful for. And I'm really grateful for the continued layers that keep coming out inside of the educational component, because Jenny's really building out this robust opportunity to serve women at every age and stage and season. And that really truly is a gift as someone who never had exposure to what female physiology evolution really is. I'm just so incredibly grateful. So Jenny, hopefully that kind of gives you enough knowledge here, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to share more if there's anything else you want me to share.
No, no, that's good. You're exactly right. Like my goal is to really serve women, the whole woman at every transition of life, right? Which is why we're expanding into more teen girl education, why we just hopped into perimenopause and helping women in that regard too. Like it's something we don't talk about. And I've found that like as soon as people know that this is something I talk about, the floodgates open, right? It becomes, oh my gosh, this is my story and this is my struggle. And I always say when women can become vulnerable in the service of other women, the narrative changes. And so I've actually had people ask me at keynotes and all the things, they'll say things like, well, how do we change this? Like, how do we change healthcare? How do we change, my insurance doesn't cover this, a functional doctor or this or that. Like, how do we change the game? And I'm like, we change the narrative by talking about it more. And we change the narrative by stepping into that, that power of our story. And while certainly, I don't necessarily share the nitty gritty and ins and outs of my infertility struggle, I do share that I went through it, right? And I do share that, and then other women step into that and say, "Hey, me too," right? And then this is a powerful situation to be in when we're all together. So, one thing that I never anticipated was when we launched this course in 2020. One thing I didn't mention was we kicked it off as a Facebook group. So it was literally just a Facebook group. It wasn't a course. It wasn't anything like that. And I knew right away that those first 68 women that went through the course, when they started saying things like, Jenny, this is life-changing information. Like, this is life-changing information that needs to be shared. That's when we decided to take it and move it to the course, right? And I always like to say, I'm a faith-based person. And so I always feel like, God has just sort of like continuously allowed me to sort of plug the holes in the boat for women over the course of time. So it started with the education, and then we moved into well, women are getting this education, but they're still struggling to find the right doctor, right? So how can we partner with the right doctor in our community? And then, okay, we've got that. And now women are saying, but, these other workout regimens just aren't really working for me. So let's just do it. Let's do it the way that it should be done. Let's create a fitness program designed for female physiology. And so this was never the beginning vision. It just sort of has evolved into this because this is exactly how you serve women. You kind of look for the need and then build it out from there. So I'm excited for where we're heading. One thing that I should mention to you is, as you get involved in sync, you're gonna have access to everyone I've mentioned here so far. So our registered dietitian, Alyssa, Dr. Page, myself, Kelsey Lintzman, our trainer, like we actually just mapped out a schedule for this year for the first quarter, for how we're going to handle live streams and answering questions and being more, active into the community. We've been doing that in Facebook. We continue that for the people that are there. But as we move everyone over here to this new technology, it's going to be great to kind of have that community just continue to flourish. So I was never really anticipating that little Facebook group back in 2020 to still be here, hundreds of people strong, and now moving over to this. But it's been awesome. And I think when women can come together and share their stories, it's even more powerful. So, okay, you guys. So let's see. Do you have any questions for either myself or Erin before we wrap this up? And let me also say while you're thinking of them, um, you'll want to reach out to the coach that invited you here to get started on your journey, whatever that looks like for you. And if you have any questions for me in particular, you're welcome to reach out to me, or your coach can reach out to me and we can have a conversation. Any questions? Quiet crowd. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, here's what I'm going to do is I will have this recording. So if anybody wants to watch it back again, or you want to share it out with a friend, I will have this up by tomorrow morning. So reach out to your coach for the link for that. But thank you so much for doing this, for tuning in, for listening to how we plan to continue to serve women in their health and longevity goals. I'm super excited for this, super excited to partner with our now over 200 Sync certified coaches to really spread this message and help women the way we need to. So thank you guys so much for hopping on here, and we'll talk soon. Have a good night. Let's hope my kids are asleep.